Hi, my name is Leeta Harding, and this is my friend Ashley Bryan Phillips, and this is a photo show called The Past and Future Merge, Young Women of Hertford County, North Carolina, and it took place over a series of 3 years from 2013 to 2016. I start off with finding vintage dresses in local thrift shops and at auctions. And it was really the beginning of finding a color palette, like old beautiful dresses. And I had been driving the back roads of North Carolina, Virginia, looking for plantations and farmhouses. And they were crumbling and they're just so beautiful. And the idea occurred to me that I should put a young woman within the walls of the rooms that I had walked into. And they were just so beautiful. Basically, this show is based in 3 different things for me. Classic portraiture, interiors of old plantations and homes that I've found in North Carolina, and documentary photography, because I would find a place, an environment, go in, shoot the rooms, and in one particular plantation I shot consistently for 3 years. So I really got to know the interiors and the architecture of the South of North Carolina. And that color palette really informed the dresses I found. It informed the style of curtains I used in some of the parlor portraits I shot in my own home. And then, the faded patina of the paint, crumbling paint and the flaking paint in the old plantations and farmhouses really scripted the way the show came together for me, or the series came together, because it's very pastel, it's very pink, it's very feminine, and it's also of an era it's from another era. It's Kodak color for me. It's the red lipstick that women wore. It's the old 50s or 60s dresses that I watched my mother. I grew up with my mother's photo albums, and she had these dresses in her closet. And so I kind of used those as an underlying theme that unified the work. I met Ashley Bryan Phillips through Facebook and Instagram, if you're on Instagram at that time. And she lived in a town, her family, her people are from Woodland, which is 10 minutes from Murfreesboro. And she saw the work I was doing and called me up one day, sent me an email, and spoke on the phone, and wanted to meet for lunch because she's a Southern writer, fiction writer, and most amazing short stories that I've read from a young woman, and at that point unpublished. So we met for lunch in our town, and we just started talking, and her way of, I asked her what it was like to grow up in the South and what it was to grow up as a young woman and in Woodland, and you started telling me stories. And it was the storytelling and the way she spoke in this beautiful lyrical accent, Southern accent, that really got me intrigued. So I asked her if I could photograph her and would she write a story for me. And I had a show coming up in Wilmington, and she was studying in Wilmington. So it was a nice synergy.
Yeah, taking the pictures, I never really done modeling before, and I was a bit nervous. We just went over to her house, and for the parlor portraits especially, my sister was with me then, and we just had the best time, playing dress up in Leeta's house. She had all these clothes laid out, all these different shoes, and if something couldn't fit me, we'd try it on my sister. It was very fun and just really feminine, and we were just hanging out with a really cool person who just happened to, like an alien, just plop in where we're from. It's really spectacular that she even ended up here. In between shots, we would just kind of catch up, just like sisters do. And Leeta just happened to have the camera rolling then, and we were talking about when my sister was younger and she got cat scratch fever, also about when our aunt got us Dollywood dresses, and
with video, with this phone.
Leeta had the phone rolling while we were just talking.
Stills and shooting video.
Yeah, so me and my sister just kept talking, and you want to talk about when you posted the video?
Yeah, well, I fed you a line and I said, can you tell me a time, that was really significant to you as sisters? And you said, well, let me think. There was a time. And you're like, you both have your arms around each other. You said, Sarah Beth got cat scratch fever. And I was like, and it was just nonstop. It was so good. And you talked about, well, how, like you talked about Dollywood dresses. There's a few things. It was a triptych. It was a series of 3 videos that were posted on Instagram. And 2 hours later, a magazine, online magazine, wanted to publish them. So I stayed up all night writing, editing, re-editing it to expand it to a longer version. And yeah, it was published right then.
Yeah.
It was really cool. So social media is like that.
So I think that this show, what it really does is, like people think this is a forgotten area, like a rural forgotten area. But more than anything, it's just it is vibrant and it is alive and it's worth it and it needs to be seen.
And photographically, it photographs well for me because there's just so many areas to explore that are forgotten, but by capturing them and bringing them into a still image and then posting on social media or having a show is a way of preserving the South, the history of some of these stories that are gone. In one particular case, the first woman I ever photographed for this series, I saw her walking down the street and I pulled over and I asked her if I could photograph her, and she was so happy, and she became one of the first women, and I photographed her over a period of 2 years. So every woman and young girl that I photographed had a place in time, and one photograph led to another photograph. So they all as a whole work together as faces, and it's, again, classic portraiture in the truest sense of the word for me. But they all, they come from various social backgrounds, different skin tones, black, white, in between, all different levels of education. And I got to know them all. And that was a great gift that they trusted me, because you have to earn trust to get honesty from the person you're shooting. And the show is up from today, September 1st to the 29th, at Green Hall Gallery, Chowan University, Murfreesboro, North Carolina. So the work will be shown next in New York City. And thank you all.